Neverending Chain by Dragon Translator. Chapter 89. Early Morning. Hiccup woke to silent nudges. He groaned softly, tempted to roll away, but a soft warble reminded him why Toothless was there instead of on his sleeping rock. Hiccup slowly sat up and smiled at his brother. He then looked to the foot of the bed where Sharpshot sat on the perch. Sharpshot held Hiccup's metal leg by the wooden cup. Hiccup took it, fastened it on, and stood up as quietly as he could. Toothless had already taken his tail fin and saddle laid out. Hiccup walked over, taking care not to let his leg rattle or his bare foot hit the squeaky spots on the loft floor. He knelt and began to slowly and quietly getting Toothless ready for a morning flight, even though the stars were still visible in the sky. Today marked a month before Snoggletog, and, as the mated pairs of the nest were due to leave in the morning for the hatchery, Stoic decreed everyone would begin decorating for the holiday. Hiccup knew his father was doing this so the mated, bonded dragons could aid their riders in decorating, and at least spend a bit of the holiday with them. This also marked the first time in Hiccup's memory that he was welcomed and encouraged to join in the decorating. Before, he would be shuffled to the forge for fear he would destroy everything. Hiccup knew his father wanted him there. He knew the other riders wanted him there. He also knew that if he and Toothless did not get a flight in before responsibilities kept both grounded for most of the day, both he and Toothless would go stir crazy. "Are you sure you don't mind that I wish to stay?" Sharpshot asked in a low tone. None of the three wished to wake Stoic, so they did their best to keep their steps light and voices quiet. They did not want Hiccup to be ordered to remain, since so many wanted his presence, and aid while the village decorated. A want, Hiccup knew, was to make up for the years he had been denied helping. At least, for many of the tribe, though Hiccup was certain that despite his words to the contrary, his friends and his father would be feeling a great deal of guilt over those years. "It's fine," Hiccup whispered, knowing why Sharpshot wanted to remain behind. Today also marked the first time dragons would be actively encouraged to join in the festivities. The terrors, due to their small size, were perfect for some tasks, and most of the nest terrors had decided to make it a competition amongst themselves as to which flock of 4 did their assigned tasks. Not only the fastest, but also to the point that Hiccup's chosen judge declared the task completed and perfect. The judge chosen by a method geared toward Hiccup called drawing straws, where the person with the shortest thread of Dervless spun wool won, and Flemmer was the one to win the honour. Sharpshot, Sneaky, Iggy and Buttercup had chosen to compete together against the 10 other flocks of 4 in the competition. "You have fun with Sneaky and the others," Hiccup continued, his voice still low, "and all 3 of us can fly together later." "Hiccup!" All 3 jumped at Stoic's bellow. "Be back before the sun rises!" The air bit with ice, but Hiccup only felt the thrill of flying. He tucked in against his brother's neck as they reached the wide northern bay. Toothless shot up in a vertical spiral. They rose up above the clouds. Toothless' wings flared. He levelled out. They glided away from the island for half a heartbeat. Toothless made a roll onto his back, and they dropped through the clouds. Toothless's wings held close, but not completely closed. Toothless spun. His wings flared. They levelled out, gliding in a lazy and wide right bank. Hiccup sat up when Toothless levelled out, and flew towards the east. Hiccup's eyes opened. The thing within him that rose when he and Hiccup flew like this settled for a moment, though Hiccup knew it wished to rise again. He knew it wished he and Toothless to continue their flight. However, Hiccup could see the lightening of the eastern sky, and knew the sun would soon show itself. They would need to get back, but before that, Hiccup wanted to try one last thing. "Head to the deepest part of the bay." "Brother, this is not a good idea." Hiccup patted the top of Toothless's head. "It'll be fine. I'll be fine." Toothless grumbled something in the old tongue. Hiccup laughed. "If you're saying I'm crazy, then you're right. But this is also necessary. We have to know what to do if I ever fall. We both go splat, which is why you put on those rope claw things on the flying covering you wear and attach them to my saddle. And those rope claw things can disconnect. It's better to practice this when we're not panicked, like we were on that day. I'm not gonna talk you out of this, am I? Nope. Toothless heaved a heavy-sounding sigh. Fine, but I want it known I protested this entire thing. Duly noted. Hiccup unhooked the harness tethers. He reattached them to the lower claw holds on the back of his harness. Toothless kept level and did not flap his wings as Hiccup stood. Hiccup wobbled a bit at first, but quickly gained his balance. He then jumped, performing a maneuver that Gita called a somersault during their karate training. He smiled as he cleared Toothless's head before the earth below reached out and started pulling him down. His smile grew as Toothless joined him in the dive. He chuckled and closed his eyes as Toothless pushed his shoulder with a gentle paw, causing him to spin in a lazy circle. At Toothless's warble, he opened his eyes. He reached, grasped the handles of the saddle. He pulled, thanking the gods for his training with Astrid and her mother, as well as his karate training with Gita. He now had the strength to pull himself back into the saddle, despite the heavy resistance he felt. His legs fell to either side of his brother's back. The metal leg snapped into its holder, and Hiccup and the tail fin opened before his right foot found the other holder. He tucked in against his brother's neck as Toothless hovered for not even half a heartbeat before diving. The wind shrieked in Toothless's wake. Just above the water, Toothless's wings flared. The dragon levelled out and began a soft glide. Hiccup sat back up, reattaching the harness tethers to the saddle hooks. That was amazing, Hiccup exclaimed. He patted Toothless's head. See, I told you I'd be fine. Toothless snorted. Then Hiccup felt his brother tense. We have company. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed this one. So they're doing that free fall thing Hiccup likes to do. Honestly, one thing I'd say if someone asked me to do that. No thanks, I choose life. Though admittedly, the fictional character I'm coming up with, who's basically based on me but has grown into her own character, she's a fairy, so she's got her own wings. I have this series in my head of if she's running through a castle and they think they've got her backed up against a wall, there's a window behind her. She grins at them and says, "You're forgetting, I'm skilled in the art of defenestration." And then she just pitches herself backwards out the window. They run to it, yelling out, thinking that she's gone mad. And then she just rises up, glowing with her magic, and her wings are beating behind her. Love that idea. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell to get notified for whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye, my guys, gals, and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.